And so the sun rises over the Taurus Mountains for the last time at the 10th European Artistic Gymnastics Championships. The beautiful city of Antalya has played host to two enormous gymnastics competitions in the last month. Firstly, the Junior World Championships, and now these Senior European Artistic Gymnastics Championships. This is what is coming up on the final day of competition, and it will be with great sadness that we bid farewell to you and to Antalya at the conclusion of the competition today. For it has been a dramatic and a historic European Championships, and it's been wonderfully hosted by the people of Turkey. 5 apparatus finals coming your way over the next couple of hours, concluding as ever with the men's horizontal bar. This is a beautiful part of the world, a place that brings together antiquity and modernity, a place of striking coastline, striking architecture and striking hospitality, kindness, warmth. The gymnasts of Europe and their delegations have been welcomed exuberantly, enthusiastically and successfully by the people of Turkey. Many of them will be discovering gymnastics for the very first time at these championships. Many of them will have been involved in the sport for some time, but will have discovered new stars, new names to watch out for, as I'm sure have you. So what of today? What more? Great names who aren't able to compete, watching their teammates, hoping for more gold medals for Turkey, and hoping more than anything else for as enjoyable a competition today as we've had throughout the championships so far. Welcome wherever in the world you're joining the action from. My name's Ollie Hogben, and it's my pleasure to be talking you through the last 5 finals today. It's always with sadness that we arrive for the last day of competition. It always seems to happen so quickly, too quickly, and yet there is so much still to come. The women's balance beam and men's vault competitions will get our coverage underway today. And in just a moment or two, we'll introduce the finalists for you. The 8 who've made it through the preliminary round. The finals are taking place simultaneously, so we'll have a balance beam gymnast, then a vaulter, and then a balance beam gymnast, and so on. Let's introduce the balance beam finalists first. Here is Amalia Giguata from Romania, the 16-year-old all-around silver medalist at the last Junior European Championships. Ondina Champong of Great Britain, the reigning British balance beam champion, and a silver medalist at the last European Championships. Alice D'Amato of Italy, who's already won full colours at these championships after taking gold on the uneven bars yesterday to complete her set in Turkey. Italy's Manila Esposito. She has won World Cup medals on the balance beam and was a national championship medalist last year. Sanne Wevers of the Netherlands, the Olympic champion from 2016. And she has already been a European champion back in 2018 too. Great to have her back. Fien Engels of Belgium, the 18-year-old who was the reserve gymnast for the World Championships last year. Zsofia Kovacs of Hungary, all-around silver medalist, and a gymnast who has 3 times been a champion of Europe. Jessica Gadirova of Great Britain, the all-around and team gold medalist. Gymnast going for her 3rd gold medal at these championships, and she was the top performer in qualification. The finalists for the men's vaulting competition: Igor Radzivilov of Ukraine, an Olympic medalist on vault from 2012 in London. It wouldn't be a European Championship vault final without him here. But here's a new one to watch. Harry Hepworth of Great Britain, narrowly missing out on a medal in the floor final. He's a lovely vaulter and won a silver medal at the Baku World Cup earlier this year. Increasingly common to see this gentleman in major vault finals. Sebastian Gawronski of Poland, He's a World Cup regular. And now we have the reigning world champion on vault, the top qualifier, Artur Davtyan of Armenia, and the bronze medalist at the last Olympic Games. The top man in the eyes of the crowd and in the eyes of many in the gymnastics world. Adam Asil of Turkey, 7th best in qualification, but he will go back to his normal difficulty in this final after playing it safe in the qualification phase. And we have Gabriel Burtanete of Romania, the junior world champion from 2019. And here's a lovely gymnast from Switzerland, Luca Giubellini, 8th best in qualification. He's got some very stylish vaulting, thoroughly earning his place in this European final. And the 2nd best in qualification, another gymnast with a lot of difficulty, Jake Jarman of Great Britain, the all-around silver medalist and a bronze medalist with the British team. He is the reigning European vault champion and Commonwealth vault champion. So how's that for a field? 2 cracking finals coming your way. The finalists in the balance beam competition at the European Championships. The top performer in qualification will be the last to go. Great Britain's Jessica Gadirova going for gold number 3 at these championships. 2nd best in qualification will be right before her, Zsofia Kovács of Hungary. But we do have an Olympic champion there as well. The finalists in the men's vault competition in Antalya. Artur Davtyan, the reigning world champion, unsurprisingly the top performer in qualification. He'll go at the end of the first half of this final.
The first 2 apparatus finals of the day with on balance beam, women's balance beam. The first 4 gymnasts from Romania, Amalia Higuarta. And then from Great Britain,
Well, it's a cliche to say, but it's true. You never know quite what you're going to get when it comes to a major balance beam final. Very often the first couple of gymnasts really set the tone. We know more of what we're going to see in the vaulting competition by virtue of the gymnasts naturally having to identify the vaults that they're going to do before, and with, I would say, fewer variables. The psychology of a balance beam final is just absolutely fascinating. It's always one of the most interesting gymnastic contrasts when you get a vault final and a balance beam final taking place simultaneously, because the quickness of vault actually seems to artificially elongate a balance beam routine. It just reminds you of how long the athlete has to spend on the apparatus, how much room there is for things to go wrong. And in contrast, it reminds us with vault just how little margin for error there is and how immediate it is, the most immediate of all of the gymnastics events. It's one of the most enjoyable things about a day of apparatus finals. There really is great diversity in the gymnastic skills required to succeed in them. And one always has that little bit more time to enjoy it than in an all-around competition where, frankly, you have to have eyes everywhere the whole time. So that brings to a close the warm-up process. And we'll get things underway in just a moment or two. The first of 5 finals taking place today on this, the last day of competition. Amalia Higuarta of Romania, the 16-year-old from Lugoj in the west of the country, a city founded in the 1300s. And that's a better mount than in qualification. She had a little skid, so that's a nice start. Solidly performed. This is a very nice display from Giguata. She had really a difficult start to the all-around final, coming off the uneven bars. And she went on to do really well, push right up the standings to get into 19th place. And that took a lot of work, considering she was in single figures after the first rotation. That's a very compelling start to this balance beam final from Amalia Giguata of Romania. She is the junior national champion on the piece, and she has begun very well. Her score was 13.133 in qualification. That is really impressive to see. Romania is the most successful nation on beam in the history of the European Championships. Not any great surprise that to those of you who are long-time fans of the sport. And on the subject of things that have been going on for a long time, Igor Radivilov. Fabulous vaulter, real veteran, 5th best in qualification. So we expect to see 2 5.6 difficulty vaults from Igor Radivilov, if qualification is anything to go by. Olympic medalist from 2012. Dragulescu to get things underway, and what a nice landing that was. He just keeps on producing quality, this 30-year-old. Handspring double front with the half twist out of it to give it that extra 4/10 of difficulty from the Roche vault. And his landing position in terms of the feet was excellent. He's certainly a little bent over at the midsection, no question there, but it is going to score well for obvious reasons. Gets a lot of height. It's a fine beginning, that. He has twice been the European champion on vault. His score is 14.9, and frankly, he's way up from qualification. 14.533 in the preliminary round, so he's really made a good case for himself. Second vault from Igor Radivilov. Well, that is also well performed. The Lu Tsukahara double pike. And it may not have quite the same execution score as the first, but unquestionably, he's delivered something strong. Gets the heels together in flight. Hop sideways, going out of bounds, but it's really impressive from Igor Radivilov. .9 for Amalia Giguata of Romania. Not anything like the same degree of difficulty as in qualification, but her execution much stronger, so she's down overall a couple of tenths. But in terms of an execution score, she's performed that well. Ondine Achampong of Great Britain, reigning British champion on beam and the silver medalist at the last European Championships in Munich. 4th best in qualification. very nice, the free walk over to the split jump to the straddle jump. Well performed, little stabilisation required at the end of the acrobatic series. Difficult skill to turn with the leg extended so high. Well, that really is nicely performed from Ondina Champong. 13.366 her score in qualification. Two and a half twist to dismount. Hop forwards as she had in qualification. So 14.75 for Igor Radivilov. He's up from qualification by around about a tenth. Second vault score was 14.6, down from qualification. Here is Harry Hepworth of Great Britain. Under 18 British vault champion a couple of years ago, and now an international medalist on vault after the Baku World Cup. And he has got a very impressive high amplitude Dragulescu. I said it yesterday in the floor final, the development in this gentleman's gymnastics in the last year or so has been stellar. He's really, along with people like Luke Whitehouse, put himself forward into people's vision with the performance at these championships. Really gets good distance away from the table. Only a small adjustment to stabilise his landing. Meanwhile, we wait for the score for Ondine Champong. It's a 14.766 for Hepworth. Not quite as high as the 15 he scored in qualification, but that was always going to take some doing. This was a lower scoring vault in the preliminary round, 14.7. Still high difficulty, same difficulty. And regrettably for Harry Hepworth, he wasn't quite there. Now, it looks as though difficult a landing, though it was, he's okay. He's going for the yo. Handspring front layout, I should say, with 2.5 twists. .533 for Ondina Champong. She improves by almost 2/10 from qualification. So that's a performance that could get her onto the podium, but a long way to go. Alice D'Amato of Italy, uneven bars champion from yesterday. Just a little need for stabilisation coming out of the punch front tuck. She had a very good leap series in qualification. Double wolf turn. Quite a big landing adjustment, but a good routine from Alice D'Amato. Same way of exiting the apparatus on Dina Champong. 2.5 twists. Kept a nice X-axis on the double wolf turn. Now for Harry Hepworth, it's a 13.999 average because of that second vault being about 1.5 marks lower than in qualification. We go now to Sebastian Gawronski of Poland. He's coming into this final with 0.4 lower difficulty than the first two gymnasts that we've seen. Qualified in 6th place. This was a very nice first vault in qualification. And he was quite low as he landed the roche. Does get a lot of power in it, but quite a squat position, almost a supine position coming into contact with the mat. So as I mentioned earlier, that, for those of you who are newer to watching vaulting, is the same vault that we have seen from Igor Radivillov and Harry Hepworth as the first vault, minus the half turn on the landing, and that's why it is 0.4 shy of that 5.6 difficulty score. Just trying to judge how close he actually gets to sitting down. I think he does a very good job of bouncing back up to not strike the mat. And he gets a 13.9 score. So it is down by 0.5 mark from qualification. Easy to see why, because of the very low landing position. Second vault coming up now for the 27-year-old from Katowice at his 5th European Championships. And he was attempting there the Tsukahara double pike vault that we saw from Igor Radivillov. And unfortunately, it hasn't quite gone according to plan for Gawronski. But as I was saying in the introductions, we're starting to see him more and more now in finals at World Cup level. He's worked very hard to build his difficulty and consistency. Translating that to a major European Championship final is not easy. 13.3 for Alice D'Amato, an improvement from qualification of almost 0.3. She goes into 2nd place. Now we look at Manila Esposito of Italy, a medalist on beam at the National Championships back in October, and part of the team that took 2nd place here. Straight from Mount into the acro series. Now that's impressive, the triple wolf turn. When you think this is a gymnast who didn't make her full senior international debut until the Liverpool World Championships. Oh, very nice double pike to dismount from Manila Esposito, the 16-year-old. Cracking display from her. Very enjoyable beam final we have. The first half has put pressure on the rest of the field, which is all for our entertainment and for the good of the final. But she was very secure landing out of the double pike position. 13.633 for Sebastian Gawronski as an average score. 13.366 for the second vault. And now to the world champion, the reigning world champion, the Olympic bronze medalist, Artur Davtyan. He was fourth in the all-around competition, won a bronze yesterday on pommel horse. It is such a big Dragulescu. Now, will it be as strong as his qualification score, which was 15? He had a little landing adjustment. Quite often, Artur Davtyan sticks that Dragulescu. Now, just a slight jarred landing with a small adjustment. It is a notoriously difficult vault to not land in quite a piked position because of how little time there is to get the body round. But he's just a delightful gymnast, isn't he? He was the overall World Cup champion last year on vault. 14.9 is the score, so just a single tenth lower than in qualifying, and that landing adjustment will likely be the bulk of the explanation for it. Second vault for Artur Davtyan. Oh, that's just beautiful! Dear, oh dear, what an exquisite piece of vaulting. Handspring front layout, 2.5 twists. Just divine. Let's enjoy this again. Get out the popcorn to review this. His form in the air is nice, his landing is better. His score will be substantial. I think there can be little doubt that he's going to lead after that. I don't know if it's possible that can be better than in qualification because it was 15.133, but he's certainly given a good go. Into the lead goes Manila Esposito, 13.7. What a performance from her. She's up almost a mark from qualifying. Oh, it is better than qualification by a few hundreds. Arthur Davtyan goes into the gold medal position. 15.033, the average score. He leads comfortably with 4 to go. And despite the fact that Arthur Davtyan is the reigning world champion, he's yet to win the European title. He has been the silver medalist on 2 occasions, the bronze medalist once. It's Manila Esposito ahead of Ondina Champong at the moment in the beam final, with Esposito's teammate Alice D'Amato in 3rd place. Arthur Davtyan, Igor Radivilov and Harry Hepworth 1, 2 and 3 in the vault competition. We have still got the second strongest qualifier, Jake Jarman, to come, and he will be the last gymnast to go. And what we have got with Adam Asil and Jake Jarman are 2 gymnasts who are producing 6.0 difficulty vaults. We haven't yet had a 6.0 difficulty, so effectively 4/10 of cushion over most of the rest of the field. Asil in qualification only did a 4.8 difficulty second vault, but we don't expect him to do that here in the final. Probably will go back to the 5.6 that he generally does as his second vault. Don't think for a moment that this balance beam title is sewn up, because look at the competitors we still have to go. But Manila Esposito has made a very good case for herself. Here is Sanne Wevers of the Netherlands, the 31-year-old who returns to international competition. She won the Olympic title in Rio de Janeiro and was the European champion in 2018. From the mount into a wolf jump with a full turn. Now that may be a little better than in qualification, because there was something of a bent knee on the second rotation of her attitude devant. Always been a gymnast to accumulate such substantial difficulty from her excellent spins. And then the gain of full twist. Oh, what a nice dismount from Sanne Wevers. That's a great display. Such different routine construction, such clever routine construction. Nice toe point in that spin, which is part of the balletic attitude family. Devant, the front position with the leg extended. Adam Asil of Turkey on vault. 7th best in qualification, but with all due respect, we're going to ignore that because it wasn't a true reflection of his difficulty. We expect to see from Adam Asil the Rise Guang vault. Oh, we certainly do see it. Now that's a 6.0 difficulty vault. He did have quite a big landing adjustment. Grimaces slightly as he walks away. The all-around and rings champion, along with the team silver medal. He was a key part of winning. Vault created by a superb vaulter from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. It is essentially the Dragulescu, but it's done in the pike position. Adding that extra 4/10, and what a 4/10 it could be. It's quite a big backward step, but there's a lot in the air that is extremely well performed. So as a result, it's a 15.166. That's the joint highest score we've seen. Not as well executed as Arta Davtyan's second vault, so the same number. And this is where we now would expect Adam Asil to return to his more favoured second vault. Sukahara double pike. Oh, unfortunate. Hands down, and it won't be another title this time for him. But I tell you what, he's had them on the edge of their seats for the whole of these championships, and one can easily understand why the vault final has not quite gone according to plan, considering what he put in, not just to the all-around and rings campaign, but the team one as well. Just not anything like the sort of connection he was aiming for. We've got a new leader, 13.8, Sanne Wevers goes into the gold medal position. She is back, and she's at the top where she's so used to being. In the women's balance beam competition, we have 3 to go. Here is Fien Engels of Belgium. 7th best in qualification. Very different sort of opening from that which we've seen thus far. Does very well to stabilise those wolf turns. Very nice free walkover. Oh, well, that was a really painful connection by the looks of things on the apparatus as she came off. Any elite level gymnast will tell you that that's the sort of thing that just happens all the time on the apparatus when you're training. But nonetheless, we have always got to credit the composure of somebody that gets back on so quickly and does that, and actually dismounts with a very nice gainer pike full. I know it's normal for these top-class gymnasts to come off the apparatus and go back on so quickly, but just because something's normal, it doesn't mean it doesn't deserve constant acknowledgement and credit. Third place nonetheless for Adamas Seal as things currently stand. Here is Gabriel Bertonete of Romania, the first ever junior world champion on vault, and he actually won the junior European title in Turkey in 2020, still only 21. And he's had some really nice results in this country. He also won vault gold at the Mersin World Challenge Cup last year. So a different sort of vault to begin. The Lopez, Kasamatsu with a double twist. A little off axis as he landed. Still a 5.6 difficulty if given the full credit for it. And I think that's the first of that particular family that we've seen, if my memory serves me correctly, in this final. And what we do have to come, we expect, is this vault, but with an additional half twist added to it, taking it to a 6.0, and that'll be right at the end of this final. But we look back at Gabriel Bertonete. He certainly is round all the way, but he's just paying the price for it a bit with a series of back steps. We haven't seen him a great deal since the World Championships. 14.333, so he is down by just under 3/10 from qualification. Didn't have the 0.1 penalty for going out of bounds that he had in qualifying. This was the better vault in qualification, the second one. We expect here to see the more common Dragulescu. Oh, he really does travel with that. It's quite piped as he lands, but it's big in terms of the execution. He's a powerful young man, Gabi Bertonete.
We have a score on B, I think.
It's quite central. It is a sizable hop to adjust. It's 11.433 for Fianhels. So no change to the top three at the moment. And just to remind you, that top three is Vevers, Esposito, Achampong with 2 to go, including the top 2 qualifiers. Here they are. Zsofia Kovacs of Hungary. The 23-year-old from Dunajvaros in the centre of the country. All-around silver medalist. Gosh, she gets some height. That's a really authoritative start. Side aerial into the back handspring. Very nicely performed. She does so well to absorb that adjustment and almost turn it into a piece of choreography. Such composure, such cleverness. Side Somi. All of this going nicely. It'll be interesting to see what kind of adjustment she needs to take on the dismount. Only a small step back. There was a step back in qualification as well, coming out of the double tuck. Great display from Zsofia Kovacs. Real authority in this performance.
European vice champion all around.
There's no question about the power she has as a gymnast, but she also is highly stylish. She has a remarkable presence as a performer. It's easy to see why she is one of the most popular gymnasts out there. Look at the height. I mean, she's halfway up into the rafters of this place. Such good form. Into the bronze medal position goes young Gabriele Bertinetti. 14.449 is his average score. That takes him just by a single tenth ahead of Asil. And now we have a very nice young vaulter from the St. Gallen area of Switzerland, Luca Giubellini. That was not quite as convincing as in qualification. And I think his reaction suggests that he knows it. But he's only 20. This is his senior international debut. It's a very special moment as well for the Giubellini family. Those of you who are students of the sport and have been watching it for a long time will remember Daniel Giubellini, who competed at the Olympic Games in Barcelona in 1992. That's his old dad, and he was actually 9th in the European Championships all-around competition in 1990. They are quite a gymnastics family because his brother Matteo and his sister Chiara have also competed in the sport. So hats off to the Giubellini family on their generation after generation accomplishments in the sport of artistic gymnastics. And he's in the early stages, this youngster. Youngest man in the vault final. 14.5. So it's actually the same score as in qualification. The execution not quite as good, but he didn't take that 0.1 step out of bounds that he did in the preliminary round. So 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Now over time, we will likely see Luca Giubellini put an extra half twist on this vault. For now, he's sticking with the Kasamatsu 1.5, which is a 5.2 difficulty vault, but he's getting there. And he'll certainly learn from the experience of this first big European Championship final, as he just has a quick shake of the hand with the gentleman who is the reigning European champion. It's quite compressed as he lands that Kasamatsu 1.5. 13.5 for Zofia Kovac. She's not quite onto the podium. It's very tight though, because she's only about 3/100ths behind Ondina Champong. That's a tough one to take. So that means that Sanne Wevers and Manila Esposito are guaranteed medals. There will be a British medalist. It will either be Ondina Champong, who's currently sitting in 3rd place, or it will be the top qualifier, Jessica Gadirova, team and all-around champion. Candle mount to begin. She's going to need to improve upon her qualification performance by more than 2/10 if she is to win this. Very controlled spins. Oh, did have some difficulties there with the front aerial. And as a result, not able to go immediately into the split jump and straddle jump as she did, I believe, in qualification, if my memory serves me correctly. That handspring layout, step out. Side aerial just has a small adjustment. Oh, and compressed landing on the double pipe from Jessica Gadirova. Well, even she cannot win them all, and she's had a phenomenal championships. And certainly for somebody who's come out of winning a team gold medal and an all-around gold medal, it's easy to see where there will be little faltering here and there. She's also going for another floor title later on. So into 5th place goes Luca Giubellini, 14.2. Will do very nicely in a first European Championship final. So we have now one more gymnast. It's the reigning European champion, Jake Jarman. Arta Davtyan leading the way with 2 5.6 difficulty vaults. Much will depend on how well Jake Jarman can perform this first extremely difficult vault. And there's the answer. Very well, very well. The Yonekura Kasamatsu with 2.5 twists. That was the key vault in securing him the European Championship title last year. It's also been an enormous vault for the British team and the English team in their international competitions. 21-year-old who has, for somebody of his age, or anyone's age, extremely impressive difficulty. He will take a 0.1 penalty, which he didn't in qualification. But in terms of the vault in flight, it's strong. British team watching on, including Luke Whitehouse, the floor champion yesterday. Becky Downey, the silver medalist on the bars. 15.2. Single best score we've seen so far in this vault competition. Now this was the better scoring vault for him in qualification, but he's gained almost half a mark on that first vault. He's put himself in a really good position now to beat the world champion. It's going to have to be an extremely tidy Dragulescu. It's very good. There's an adjustment step, but it is very good. Now, how close is this going to be? You've got Davtyan on 15.033 as an average, with Jarman having just produced a 15.2 for his first vault.
Davtyan and Radilov will be the first 2 medalists, that's for sure. The inquiry has been accepted. 13.7 new score for Zofia Kovac.
Now we have a look back on this, the vault of Jake Jarman. I've got some other news to bring you after that. I can tell you that there has been a change in the balance beam standings. Jessica Gadirova, 12.166, but Zofia Kovac and her coaching team have successfully appealed the difficulty score to a gain of 0.2 of a mark, and that has put Zofia Kovac onto the podium. We'll come back to all of that in a moment, because there is the bronze medalist, Zofia Kovac of Hungary. And we have confirmation of that change score, 13.7. Well done for getting that paperwork done quickly. And there is your champion of Europe. It's as though she's never been away. Sanne Weavers with a 13.8 score. And Manila Esposito of Italy, a fantastic accomplishment for her to take the silver medal, her second silver medal of these championships. Now, what about the men's vault competition? It is a 15.016 for Jake Jarman. I said it was going to be close. The gap, less than 200ths. Arta Davtyan, the world champion, is now the European champion. The one missing from his collection. And his elegance and style just barely outperforming the increased difficulty of Jake Jarman. So it's Davtyan taking the title, Jarman by a gap of 0.017 taking the silver. And Igor Radivilov, the veteran, on the podium once again. The classified results in the balance beam competition. The bronze medal to Zsofia Kovacs of Hungary, her second of these championships. Also a second medal and a second silver medal for Manila Esposito of Italy. And Sanne Weavers, team bronze medalist, takes the gold. The classified results in the vault competition for men: bronze to Igor Radivilov of Ukraine, silver to Jake Jarman of Great Britain, and the gold to Arta Davtyan of Armenia. And that is a reversal of the top two from last year. Let's remind ourselves of how the medals were won in the women's balance beam and men's vault competitions. In just a moment or two, we'll bring you the victory ceremonies for the women's balance beam and men's vault competitions in Antalya, Turkey. So don't go too far away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 10th Artistic Gymnastics European Championship Beam Final Award Ceremony.
The victory ceremony in the balance beam competition at the 10th European Artistic Gymnastics Championships taking place in Antalya, Turkey. Zsofia Kovacs of Hungary wins the bronze medal. A terrific performance, a score of 13.7. This was so close. The same score for Manila Esposito of Italy, but a slightly higher execution. Her second silver medal of these championships. But if you're going to lose to somebody in a close final, make it an Olympic champion. Sanif Vevas, the 31-year-old, has returned. But how impressive. Manila Esposito getting so close to a gymnast of that experience, and how impressive finishing above a gymnast who's already been the second best in the all-around competition. That is a high-quality podium with a worthy winner.
The gold medal is presented by European Gymnastics Executive Committee member Paula Freising. The silver medal is presented by European Gymnastics Normal Technical Committee member Orna Shai.
Sanif Vevas said of herself, with it being 20 months since her last competition, I'm curious to see whether I can get it right again. Well, turns out she can. Of course she can. And we'll now have the national anthem of the Netherlands.
Please rise and direct your attention towards the flag ceremony and the national anthem of the Netherlands.
Congratulations. Tüm sporcularımızı tebrik ediyoruz.
And there they are, the medalists in the balance beam competition at the European Championships in Antalya, Turkey. We'll proceed straight into the men's vault ceremony.
Bayanlar ve baylar, erkekler, atlama masası alet finali ödül törenine geçiyoruz.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to men's vault final award ceremony.
The victory ceremony in the men's vault competition at the European Championships.
Üçüncü ve bronz madalyanın sahibi.
Third place individual bronze medal, Igor Radivilov, Ukraine.
The bronze medal going to Igor Radivilov of Ukraine, his 13th European Championship medal. It is a remarkable record.
Second place individual silver medal, Gigi Jammer, Great Britain.
Jake Jarman of Great Britain wins the silver medal, having taken the silver medal in the all-around competition. The European champion on vault from last year is back on the podium again, and this was such a close final, less than 0.02 of a mark separating the top two. But there is the top man, the world champion, has got the European title at last as well. Artur Davtyan of Armenia.
Ödülleri takdim edecekler. Altın madalya.
Truly the finest out there on vault.
Federasyonu Erkekler Teknik Komite Üyesi. Gümüş madalya Sayın Diego Lazarus.
He does everything with class and style.
Bronz madalya Sayın Cumhur Özçelik. Türkiye Jimnastik Federasyonu Asya.
Very proud moment for the Armenian delegation. His brother Vahagan watching on. And they're already standing because they're about to hear the national anthem of Armenia.
Diego Lazarus, and the bronze medal is presented by Turkey Gymnastics Federation Vice President Mr. Cumhur Özçelik.
Bayanlar ve baylar, sizleri Ermenistan Ulusal Marşı için ayağa kalkmaya davet ediyorum.
Please rise and direct your attention towards the flag ceremony and the national anthem of Armenia. Congratulations to all athletes.
Tüm sporcularımızı tebrik ediyorum.
The medalists in the men's vault competition at the European Championships of Artistic Gymnastics.